So the two things you're going to need to write the equation of a line, just like we've been seeing, is slope and the y-intercept, which is why the form takes the name slope-intercept form, okay? You're going to have the slope, which is the m, and then the y-intercept is the b right there, okay? Now, the slope, if we were given 2 points, we'd use the slope formula, and we know from the slope formula, you always subtract the y's and the x's, no matter what, and it's always y's on top, x's on bottom. We actually won't need this formula today. We will need it for like the test, but not for today's assignment. So for today's assignment, we're going to be finding the slope from an equation that's given, like we've already done. But then we've got to find the y-intercept. Well, how do you find the y-intercept? All we do is we take this formula right here and we manipulate it, just like we've seen before. The y-intercept is represented by the letter b. Okay, and what you do is you take a y value and you subtract the slope times whatever the x value is. Okay, now we know m is the slope, but what is the x and y? That comes from an ordered pair that has to be given. You'll have an x value and a y value. Whatever this is, you just plug these in as x and y, and then your slope in is the slope, and then you just put this in the calculator, boom, it'll give you the y-intercept, okay? So we're going to need this formula. We're going to need it today. We're going to need it for the test. We're going to need it for the quiz, all right? So you're going to want to remember this formula. B, the y-intercept, is y minus mx. Now, do you really need to memorize this? No, you can just use this, this equation right here, knowing that the x is the x value from the y-intercept, and the y is not the y-intercept, but the x is the x value from the ordered pair, and y is the y value from the ordered pair. And then the m is always the slope, which you'll have to find. We need the slope first, then we can find the y-intercept. So on this example, we want an equation of the line that goes through this point. Again, this is not the y-intercept, which is what they gave us in the past, but we want it parallel to this line right here. So we're looking for parallel lines. That means we want the same slope for our new equation. All right, but this equation is not telling me what the slope is right away, so I've got to change that in the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And I can do that pretty quick simply by getting rid of the x, zeroing it out, okay, and that allows me to drop the y. So now I got y equals, I'm going to show this is negative x and positive 4. Please do not combine those two terms. 4 minus x, you got to keep those separated because they're not like terms 2 combined. And at this point, I will want to see the slope as negative 1, right? But I have found my slope. It's negative 1. Again, I do have my y-intercept, which is at 0, 4, which, you know, that would just allow us to put it on the graph. So my new equation, it's going to take the same format, y equals mx plus b. Well, since the slope is the same for a parallel line, and I have a slope here at negative 1, I know that my new slope will also be negative 1. What I don't want to do is say, well, I see the y-intercept is 4, so I'm going to put plus 4 there. Don't do that either, okay, because we don't know what the y-intercept is for the new equation. That's what we got to figure out. So I take my y-intercept formula, b equals y minus m times x, and then I can just start replacing values, right? So we did find the slope there. We found it to be negative 1. So I replaced the m, the slope, with negative 1. Okay, but what about the x and y? Well, x is negative 1 and the y is 4 from the ordered pair. So I say my x, I'll start with the x. I'm going to replace it as negative 1. And the y value given in that ordered pair was 4. So I take the y, I replace with 4, and then I just solve this. You can just put it in the calculator if you want. But when I put this in the calculator, I get a y-intercept that's positive 3. So my y-intercept is plus 3. Boom, that's it.